See, on a normal basis, and I'm coming right at you, America. And this is something that the average idiot out there don't understand. Part of that sheep, that sacrificial lamb that the government has in their back pocket, feeding you the same propaganda they fed you for decades, that you fall into that same lawlessness of sleeplessness, of idiocy, and not understanding the real truth. Now, here, I usually get upset. And when I get upset, I swear a lot. And it's just because, it's not because I'm ignorant. It's not because I'm trying to degrade somebody. But understand this. I'm passionate about what I do. I'm not saying these things to impress anybody. You intellectuals out there who think that you know everything, experts on everything, like you political analysts, and you media journalists, experts out there who think that you know everything because you think you have the facts, because you don't. You have an agenda just like everybody else does. Telling lies of the federal government. That you think that the American people, the average American person, is too stupid to understand, which they are. This is the most stupid, uninformed country in the world. And we bought into it for decades. It angers me that people are so stupid, so self-fulfilled, so jaded, shallow, empty-minded, that they can't see the truth when it's right before their eyes. 90% of this country needs CNI dogs because you're freaking blind to the truth. And that's truth on a lot of subjects in this country. Religion, politics, social, educational, and let's be real here. That's not going to change. Because primarily what I see right now, coming from the GOP, the Republican Party, which in all intents and purposes is nothing but skinheads and the Ku Klux Klan, John Birch Society, every racist, bigoted organization out there, collectively sewn up into one. And it's called the GOP. Because truth be told, you are a bunch of ancestral morons who happen to, by mistake, get into politics. And Romney pretty much fulfilled that. Because here you have a white man who's a Mormon who believed that people of color are cursed. Not only that, that out of his mouth, and he'll sit there like every politician out there with this plausible deniability, saying, I didn't mean what I said. No, you didn't mean what you said because you didn't think that the American public would see it. You were in some private fundraiser with all of your little cronies who feel the same way. The other racist and bigoted skinheads and Ku Klux Klan members. When you said you don't care about the 47%. In that alone, America, the man doesn't deserve to even be a presidential candidate. When he says that 40% of this country doesn't matter to him. Alone. You don't have to even go any further. And the same morons who have a man in their political party, I'm talking about the Republican Party right now. I'm concentrating on the Republican Party because you people make me sick. You are the most stupidest, idiotic political organization out there who for years, and this goes back to when my mom and dad were living. Your message was the same back then, and your message is the same 2012 going into 2013. And your message will still be the same in the year of 2024. Because you're a bunch of bigoted, wealthy, self-indulged, eccentric jerks. Now I'm going to refrain from cursing. How long that's going to take, I don't know. Because right now I'm touching on a subject that just takes me to a level that I'm telling you right now, it just drives me crazy. We look back in the history of this country, people of color, your obsession with people of color, and it started from the American Indian. How many times that redundantly someone needs to go back and trace your history for people to understand? That's why I said education in this country is at an all-time low, because we're producing idiots, and our educational system proves that how far we fell behind other countries as far as education is concerned. Now that's just part of the problem. Another part of the problem is ignorant parents who, with your stupidity, with your forefather philosophy and theories of people of color, just creates what we face today. The same bigoted racism from empty-minded morons with ancestral past. What kind of man or woman will lay in a bed with their mother, father, or sister, or brother, and bring about mongoloid children? So you tell me, who's the superior people here? That's like animals. Because animals don't even know the difference. Now, are you, who's supposed to be so educated, so well-informed, so superior, so intelligent, will sit there and lay with your mother, father, sister, or brother and call it right? Reason why you have no ethics and no morals. Reason why you can go out here and lie on live TV and tell people one thing, then backpedal and say it's totally different. It's not what I said. It's not what I meant. Because there's something wrong with you. Mentally, there's something wrong. And American people can't even see this. Even that you can go through 8 years of the worst recession in American history, blew the deficit up to a level that can't even be managed, and yet you want to blame it on a man because of his skin color. Like you try, I guess, and blame Martin Luther King for bringing equality. I just don't get it. And maybe it's just me. Maybe it's innately that I think, and I'm not waiting to be spoon-fed by some totalitarian dictatorship called a democracy in this country that's been scamming the American people for centuries. Now, I woke up and I didn't even think about this. I was on my computer downstairs doing school assignments. My girlfriend brought this to me, and she happens to be white. So you want to go on to that ignorant black man racist level, don't even go there with me, because I'll put you in a place with that too. Thompson's son issues an apology. Once again, just like his little counterpart, Romney, okay, you're in a private function with the rest of you idiots. Now, I'm not going to talk against the law firm. The law firm had nothing to do with this. This is just an idiot. Okay? A self-fulfilled, eccentric, wealthy idiot, like most of them out there, who thinks because in the privacy of seclusion with other empty-minded, bigoted, racist morons, you can say what you want. And you don't know who's out there actually taping it. Or will leak the tape for America to see. Now here, this is just a segment. 29-second videotape shows that Jason Thompson comment prompted laughs from the crowd, with one woman jokingly added, "We are taking donations for that Kenya trip. Now this is directed at the most powerful man in the world, and that's the President of the United States. And because you may have difference of a person's skin color, but you're going to disrespect the man and say send him back to Kenya, which in all intents and purposes, like any other idiotic skinhead, mindless KKK, who says send them all back to Africa on that black boat. So pretty much you're saying the same thing about the president. Shows me the intellectual level that you don't have, because you stoop to the level of ignorance, beyond ignorance. Even comes down to stupidity, that something like that would come out of your mouth, especially a woman. The same woman that your little Romney said, rape doesn't mean nothing. Or you can't even make decisions about whether you have an abortion or not. Now, let's stop for a minute and analyze. You have one man who was Thompson's son, who thinks he can say, send a black man back to Africa, because pretty much that's what he said. Send some black man back to Africa. To all the black people out there, especially you house Negroes called Republicans, this is how they think about you, how they truly feel about you. And you want to be a part of a racist, bigoted party? You want to remain into modern day slavery? You go right ahead, because even you, I don't have respect for. Now, personally, I dealt with the KKK. I dealt with the skinheads. In all intents and purposes, unless you have crowds, you're a bunch of little faggots, spineless cowards who won't do anything by yourself. You need a group around you. And unless you have a group around you, you ain't got the balls to face a man one-on-one. Imano, imano. Because guess what? Your power is in numbers. And unless you have numbers or a crowd around you, it's like when you attack a black man or a black woman. It ain't one-on-one. It's with crowds. It's like when you came to my house. You didn't come one. You came in truckloads. And yeah, my daddy and I, we shot back at you. And guess what? If some of you got hit or even died, I wouldn't give a damn. But I guess what? You didn't come up to the house much anymore by that, did you? No. You go 3-4 miles down the street and burn a cross. Like that's supposed to strike fear in my heart or my dad's heart. It didn't. Because I'm here today to tell you, you're a bunch of spineless cowards. The point, when a country who is one of the greatest melting pots out there, the mixing of races, and you got idiots out there who talk about purity. Look back in your history, especially those down south, and you've seen the movie, The Help. Pretty much sums up what I'm going to say. Even your own mama was too stupid to take care of you. That you had to have somebody to take care of you. And that proverbial tit that kept you alive from a black woman, and you want to turn around and hang those people? Burn their houses, burn their church? That's a delusional, bipolar idiot. While your mama's sitting there getting drunk with the other racist, delusional idiots and your little social tea parties. Who raised you? She didn't raise you. Black woman raised you. Who made you profitable? Your daddy didn't make you profitable. Your slaves made you profitable. So in all intents and purposes, you owe your very existence to black people. And some of you idiots up north too. And I'm not even going to get into that, because that's been covered over and over again. You already know. That's why you're on this guilt trip of hate, because you hate the very people that did the most for you. And let's not go back into your ancestry. Go back into the really cause of why you are the way that you are. Let's focus on England. Why England didn't want you. Because you were the carpet beggars. You were the low life that existed in the alleyways, in the sewers of England. Why England dumped your asses on American shore in the first place? Because you weren't fit to be average citizens. So what does that tell you, America? Who actually created your government? Who actually created your Constitution, your civil rights, your preamble, your Pledge of Allegiance? Were they people of ethics? Morals? Moral fiber? No. They were the back alley sewers of England. Criminals that was dumped on this shore. Reason why they hated the American Indian. Because the American Indian was a pure race. People of harmony and peace. And you just had to upset that little cart. And ever since then, from the first Civil War with the American Indian, you created war ever since. Now to all you idiots out there who sit in front of the idiot tube, black and white alike, and try to gather information of truth. There is no truth in a government-sponsored media. Cup of Joe, CNN, the racist, bigoted idiots, Fox News, ABC, NBC, all of you are little whores of the government. They pay you to say whatever they want you to say. Even this little leakage of information after the fact. Because your little political morons have this little clause called plausible deniability after the fact. It's like 9/11. Truth didn't come out then, it came out years later after everything is over, and they think you idiots out there are not thinking about it anymore. Like Watergate, like the Iran-Contra affair. And most of this stuff came from what? The Republican Party. Now mind you, this little clown, Thompson's son, he had the right to say what he had to say. But guess what? Dude, go say it in one of your little neo-Nazi parties. Or your little Ku Klux Klan meetings. Or your little skinhead meetings. We as true Americans don't need to hear your hatred. Don't need to hear your racist, bigoted agendas. Especially against black men that weren't even here, that you brought over here. Your ancestors. So don't blame a black man and tell him to go back to Kenya. You're stupid, ignorant, ancestral morons. Should never have brought us over here in the first place. So in all intents and purposes, whose fault? Whose fault is it? It's your fault. Like everything else that happened in this history. Every war that you created. Whose fault that man died in that embassy? It's your fault. Because everywhere you go, you create death. Because you're nothing but a bunch of demons from hell. Satan's pawns. All you do is create death. Ain't a time in history where you created peace. Just like the Roman Empire. You're parasites of death. Everywhere you go, death. Vietnam War, death. Desert Storm, death. Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan, death. Everywhere you go is death. But you wave that flag of peace like it's an honor, like it's a badge of honor. It's a disgrace. It's a social, international disgrace. And then you bring it down on a personal level. And I'm going to tell you one thing right now, and this is going to open the eyes on a lot of you. The economy in this country creates deficit. You will always have a deficit. And ain't no man going to be, as president, is ever going to solve the deficit. Let's be real here. Because on the premise that even the American citizens live on, you live on a deficit agenda, on a deficit economical platform. Because we create debt. How many people own their home free and clear? How many people own their car free and clear? How many people educational expenses free and clear? How many people have a credit card? How many people have a personal loan? How many people have more than one mortgage? If we didn't operate on a deficit, where would the credit card companies be? Where would the banks be? Where would the savings and loans be? We create deficit. Just like this warmongers of this government creates war. And if anything is one of the biggest reasons for deficit is our wars. Since the First World War. And all you economical experts, political analysts, Harvard graduates, who don't have a bit of common sense, and you try to make it so complex that the average person can't understand? Dude, really? Really? A child can understand your ignorance. Your tax loopholes. Your evasive actions to go overseas and make offshore accounts. Like Romney, Ryan, and Thompson. All of you. Your GOPs who kiss the ass of the rich and wealthy. There goes my cursing. Guess what? Because I'm pissed that my fellow Americans are so stupid that you bought into the same idiotic mentality for centuries and haven't learned one iota of truth yet. What does that say about you? Deficit. How many countries out there are free and clear? There ain't no country in the world that's free and clear. They all have deficits. Another plain fact, you're coming to a man that you think is going to create jobs, who work for a company that took away American jobs and sent them over to China. But because he sits there in front of your face and looks presidential, he doesn't even look presidential. He looks like an idiot. A corporate 500 daddy made, not that he made his money himself, daddy made money, just like his sons, just like Thompson's son, with the idiotic statement that came out of his mouth. They're not self-made. They were made by their daddy and their daddy's money. And this idiot came from a man who was a bigamist. and created one of the worst cars ever made. And everybody remembers the Rambler. Come on, man, really? Why it failed? Why even his daddy's attempt to become president failed? And your first time campaigning for president, when Senator Kennedy told you, where's the facts? Where's the facts? And the same thing in 2012. Where's the facts? Not promises. Dude, that's idiotic bull. Every political moron out there who's in public office on Capitol Hill or even in the White House uses that promises crap. A turkey on everybody's table. A chicken in everybody's icebox or refrigerator. That's just propaganda, dude. That's just elementary bull of a corrupted political system. And if you Americans out there who vote for a bigoted, racist, mindless, eccentric, Republican president, you've seen what Bush put you through for the last 8 years. And Romney's going to do the same thing. I don't feel sorry for you. Because if they become president and vice president, you will go into another war. And guess what? That war will devastate this country. And will devastate our economy. And that's the truth. Democratic Party may not be the answer for all our ills. But at least they don't eliminate 47% of America. Deny women rights. And they say go forward. We're not going forward. We're going backwards. When are you morons are going to actually listen to something? Especially Trailer Park America. And especially white men of America. Get away from your egos and your testosterone. Stop pumping so many iron and pump something to that brain of yours. Reason why I don't know if I'm going to vote. And you young people out there who are the future of this country. If you don't come up with a new political party, a new political agenda, new political policies, a new federal government, state, local, you'll have no future either. And if you're listening to this video, you better listen very intently. Because these next 4 years and the next 4 years after that will determine America's future. Whether we fail or whether we succeed. And that's not based on the color of a man's skin. That's based on changing the dinosaur, demigod, moronic, delusional, mentally ill philosophy of self-centered, eccentric men and women on Capitol Hill and in the White House. To take away, not bring about American dream, take away Americans' dreams by overtaxation, by fraud, child credit fraud, Social Security fraud, Medicare fraud, and becoming a military state that thinks spending more money on military expenses than average Americans, living expenses, is not where this country needs to go. That war means more to you than humanity, than peace. And what happened in the American embassy? It's your fault. Because you allowed some mentally ill ex-president called Bush to create that mess. He created it. Obama didn't create it. Clinton didn't create it. Carter didn't create it. Republicans always create wars. Because they're sleeping in the same bed with the military manufacturers. Because they love war. Because they're parasites of warmongers, past and present. I'm done. I'm out of here.